Hey there guys, CB from CJB Studios here, and today I'm going to be doing another film review on this channel, and this time it is none other than James Cameron's Titanic. For those of you who don't know, the sinking of the RMS Titanic happened on April 14th to April 15th, 1912, and since today is April 15th, 2023, 111 years after the tragedy, I decided, well, since it has been at this point, way past 100 years from when the disaster occurred, why not talk about James Cameron's film based on the disaster? Now, there are other films of the Titanic out there, such as A Night to Remember, and, well, I haven't seen that movie yet. I've only seen bits of it, though, just not in its entirety. I actually do plan to watch with my grandmother at some point. Anyways, the plot of James Cameron's Titanic opens up with these divers going underwater, and they find the wreckage of the Titanic, and they see this picture of someone by the name of Rose. I don't know how to say her last name. It's kind of hard to say. What is it? DeWhitaker or something? Anyways, they find this drawing of Rose, and they try to look for someone by that name, and they do happen to come across Rose, who by this point in the movie is a much older woman, and she tells them her story about what her life was like on the Titanic. Then, the movie goes back into the past where we see Rose as a younger woman played by Kate Winslet, and she boards the Titanic, and another person by the name of, who is it, Jack, was it Dawson, I think was his last name? Yeah, Jack Dawson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who also gets on the boat. They, when Jack and Rose are on the ship, they soon fall in love with each other, right up until the Titanic collides with the iceberg. After the Titanic collides with the iceberg, the ship starts to sink, and of course, Rose loses Jack due to him catching hypothermia, and, Rose, of course, she says to Jack that she'll never let go of him, and then the film ends with Rose as an older lady holding this blue diamond-like necklace, and, she ends up throwing it into the water, and then the film ends. So that was pretty much my own review on the Titanic movie. It's kind of hard to talk about, given that, this movie is based on a real-world tragedy, and, this kind of happened, but the tricky thing with movies like these, based on real world things, they're really hard to talk about. Like when I talk about Passion of the Christ, that was a real thing that happened thousands of years ago, and it was very hard to talk about. And the same thing kind of happened to Elvis as well, although that was a biopic movie, but still. But with that aside, though, as for my thoughts on Titanic, I thought this movie was actually, really, really good. I mean, it is pretty sad, of course, since, the disaster itself is sad to begin with, and, this movie kind of makes it even sadder than it already is. But what makes this take on Titanic, in media, whether it be in theaters or on TV, is the concept of it focusing more on a love story while still being somewhat faithful, not really faithful, emphasis on the word faithful, to, the disaster. And, I do think that's a really interesting idea. The way James Cameron did it by, combining, a love story that didn't happen to something that did happen, that is really unique. And of course, because of that, this movie on the Titanic, it did garner a lot of, parodies of it. Phineas and Ferb did a parody of it. Zig and Shargo even did a parody of it, as well as a couple of rip-offs. such as the infamous Tentacolino Titanic movie and the Asylum's Titanic 2. And from what I've heard, I think there's rumors going around that there actually will be another Titanic ship, like a real Titanic 2, but I'm kind of getting off topic. Simply put, I thought this Titanic movie was really well done. Like, the fact that it was done by James Cameron, the same guy that did, Avatar, which I haven't seen, as well as Terminator, which of course I did see, it kind of makes you see James Cameron in a kind of a different way. And honestly, I think his take on the Titanic, again, I think he did a really unique, a really good job with it. Even if it had some historical inaccuracies, his take on it was really impressive. Again, combining a love story to a tragic shipwreck. That, I think, is very unique, like I said. So, as a little bit of history here, the first time I've heard of the Titanic, like the actual Titanic, was actually because of this Ice Age short. It was, for those who don't know, it's this short called No Time for Nuts. And it's where Scrat goes, he travels through time, and one point in time he travels to where the Titanic disaster occurs. But in this short, the Titanic doesn't sink, it just hits the iceberg and stays there. Now keep in mind here, when I was a kid, I didn't know that the Titanic, was a real thing, at all. And, let alone even watching this movie, because I first saw this movie at my grandparents' house back when I was 12 years old. We were heading to a Titanic museum, and my grandmother had this film called Titanic. In fact, I actually still have it right now. I even did a DVD menu walkthrough on it a little while ago. For those of you who haven't seen it, I did a walkthrough on all 3 discs. It's the 2005 special collector's edition of the movie. So, yeah, at that point in time, I was kind of interested in Titanic, but it wasn't until 2014 when I was even more interested in it, because the fact that it's basically a love story combined with the sinking of the Titanic, I found that quite unique, like I've said. And, well, because of that, I decided to watch it some more, maybe learn how the movie was made, and, well, yeah, I thought it was really well done, like I said. Like, not just, the story, but everything around it. Like, the cinematography, the music, and, well, the look of everything. Like, right down to the sets. Like, the fact that they could build, sort of like a replica of the actual Titanic. And they, in fact, from what I've heard, I think some of the people who built the Titanic actually helped them build their set off of it. And I think that was really incredible. And of course, there's the cast. Of course, we've got Kate Winslet playing Rose, Leonardo DiCaprio playing Jack. Let's see. Bill Paxton. I don't know who he plays, but I think Bill Paxton was in this movie too. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than that. Well, I really enjoyed Titanic. So, yeah, that was my review on Titanic. I know this video's not great, as always, but, I figured, well, since today is the 111th anniversary of when the ship sank, I figured, this could be maybe this would be a good time to talk about the movie, so why not? And, well, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will see you all later.